Hey everyone, welcome back to Destination Truth. Today I'm back in my car because I'm doing kind of a long commute somewhere, and I thought I'd share some of this very interesting book with you. It's called The CIA is Organized Crime, and I highly recommend that you read this book right after reading Operation Gladio, also about CIA involvement internationally and how the CIA is effectively helping the United States rule the world from the shadows. And I'm really not being conspiratorial. I am not guessing. I am literally using accounts from people with access to the CIA, agents and officers and directors, or people that have files and documents that have been able to write books and not get assassinated while they're at it. So it's amazing that we live in a time where this kind of information is coming out. But I'm going to play an excerpt from the book. A short excerpt, but I'm shadow banned anyway, so I highly doubt very many people will even see this. But nonetheless, if you do watch this video and you like the excerpt I'm about to play for you, please give me a like and subscribe. I could really use the help. Right now I am losing subscribers faster than I'm gaining them because I have in fact been shadow banned, without a doubt. So yes, without any further ado, I'm going to play about 5 minutes for you. Really information that you should really learn yourself. So again, I highly recommend reading the book The CIA is Organized Crime. I have it on Audible. I get some of my books on paperback and some in Audible, and this one I'm really enjoying on Audible. So here it is without any further ado.
Set up South Vietnam's Foreign Relations Council, Chamber of Commerce, and Lions Club to create a strong civil base. That's what the CIA is doing in Ukraine through the Center UA. It's creating a pro-American civil base from which political candidates emerge. The CIA influences...
I'm just going to pause and mention that the United UA that he just mentioned is basically a company in the Ukraine that basically runs the media. And so he's talking about basically CIA taking over the United UA and the narrative in Ukraine. Just one example.
Politics in foreign nations in many ways. CIA officers are constantly funneling money to all political parties, right and left, and establishing long-range agents to monitor and manipulate political developments. That's standard practice. Why? Because, like I've always said, there is no right and left. It's one party, the war party. Whether you're liberal or conservative doesn't really matter, as long as the things that really matter, which is money, global control over armies and militaries, and the narrative. Basically, those things that actually truly matter, like human lives, those things. So, you can disagree all you want about whether a woman should be able to control their womb or not. Who really cares? Honestly, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. Let's keep going. Standard operating procedure. The next thing the CIA does is seize control of a nation's secret services. That's what they did in Vietnam and in Ukraine. As I've explained elsewhere, they offer training and high-tech gadgetry to people in the secret services. They corrupt them and use them for their own purposes, like they used Savak in Iran. It's highly illegal to suborn officials in foreign nations. We don't like it when it's done to us, and it's not something even an influential billionaire like Omidyar is trained to do, although his private security force is probably staffed by former CIA officers who do know how to do it. The CIA infiltrates all the political parties, and as soon as a politician they own is in place, right or left, they can elevate him or her to defense minister or interior minister. These ministers are on the CIA payroll and appoint military, security, and police officials who do the CIA's bidding. The CIA tries to place its people throughout the captive nation's government and civil society. In South America, they recruit junior military officers via the School of the Americas, now innocuously renamed, and when the time is right, have them stage a coup with the support of all the other people they've been cultivating for years, sometimes decades. U.S. corporations need the CIA to put these parallel governments in place. The CIA penetrates the military and security services and simultaneously creates a civil base through deniable organizations like Center for UA. This is how societies are ruled when there's no overwhelming popular support. through the ownership of property and by having the proper people in government and civic institutions. The CIA recruits people in place, like Lech Wałęsa in Poland. Often the people running the unions are on the CIA payroll. People running the education system, too. The CIA can recruit these people because it has so much money. The Russians can't compete when billionaires like George Soros are sprinkling $1 million here and $5 million there. Money that goes into...
So I just got to interrupt again and say this is why libertarians have such an uphill battle. There's not a lot of money behind the movement yet, and the competition has all the money in the world. So it's an uphill battle, but we have to enlighten people to be able to wake up to the evils that have been wrought on this planet, and why with our current trends going forward, we are expected to have unended perpetual war forever, because the United States will prop people up to make war happen so that we have an enemy that we can use our military-industrial complex machine to attack and continually spend taxpayer money, and the cycle continues. Let's keep going.
Building civic institutions that are ideologically attuned. Whether people do it for love or money or belief of a brighter future, the CIA is manipulating the social and political processes. Its officers and their agents are recruiting people and putting them in place, having them sign contracts that effectively say, in exchange for working for us in advancing our interests here in Kiev, you will get $100,000 in a Swiss bank account and your life will be rosy. It's illegal. It's treasonous. You can't take money from a foreign intelligence agency and work against your own country, but that is what the CIA is doing in the Ukraine right now and around the world on a massive scale.
Massive.
Dawson, I wanted to ask you about that human intelligence. What is the Intelligence Community Directive 304, Valentine? That came out in 2009. If anybody wants to read it, it's only 4 or 5 pages long. It spells out in broad, simplistic terms what the FBI, the CIA, and the Department of Defense do for the National Director of Intelligence in terms of HUMINT. The position of Director of National Intelligence didn't exist until Bush became president in 2001. Until then, the person who supervised all intelligence operations was the Director of the CIA, who doubled as Director of all intelligence agencies. After 9/11, the CIA Director was no longer officially overseeing all other intelligence agencies. That role passed to the new Director of National Intelligence, which since 2010 is a position held by James Clapper. The DNI job was created by Bush to enable more political control over domestic intelligence operations. In 2009, the Director of National Intelligence issued Directive 304 to define the jobs of the military, CIA, and FBI. The most recent online copy has redactions. They cut out parts about what the CIA does. It's standard to classify the names of CIA officers in the Ukraine, what their cover positions are, who they've bribed and suborned. If the president of the Rotary Club or the police chief in Kiev is a CIA agent, those things are classified because they are illegal. But now, thanks to Directive 304, you can't even know what is unclassified about CIA operations. That is how bad it has gotten.
All right, I had to pause it again and just mention that. Notice that they made yet another position to basically make less people responsible for even more secret institutions, especially because the CIA probably had become somewhat overrun with good people. And so we just take the power away from them and say, no, you have a new director now that's in charge of everything. CIA, NSA, FBI, and dozens upon dozens of small, secret, basically, agencies that work kind of off the books for the CIA as contractors. So, just another way of limiting the amount of power into a pyramid-type position so that the globalists can control their military arm, which, do not doubt it, it is the CIA. The CIA is the most effective, secretive army that's ever existed in the world, and it is effectively ruling the world for the globalists right now as we speak. Let's continue, though.
Again, it's all about the control of information. They don't want you to know anything. That's how they exert power over you. Your rulers are obsessed with controlling information and not letting you know what goes on. The same way Greenwald hides his treasure trove of NSA documents obtained from Snowden and dribbles out only what he wants you to see. Because a person's or an institution's power is directly equivalent to its ability to control the information upon which its power depends. Dawson, and to profit from it. Valentine, that's the whole point. Democracy is corrupted when your government prevents you from knowing what the CIA is doing. That kind of secrecy is the antithesis of democracy. If the public doesn't know what's going on, then it has no control over its fate. Americans have given up so much control, so much freedom. Dawson, every time they declassify something, we find out it had nothing to do with sensitive secrets. It's just hiding illegal activity. That's it. Valentine, the CIA isn't conducting secret illegal actions around the world to bring class, gender, and racial harmony to America, or encourage Palestinians and Jews to hold hands and sing Pepsi commercials together. The CIA is doing this on behalf of the Clintons and Bushes. They do it for Omidyar and Bill Gates and George Soros and the people who rule us. Dawson, they are the secretive military wing of the plutocrats. Valentine, yep. Phil Agee called the...
Alright guys, that's all I can share, but an amazing book. Really advise you to get it. I wish I could tell you more, but I will do an official book review after I'm done with the book. And again, I recommend reading The CIA's Organized Crime, how illegal operations are basically ruling the world. Read it after Operation Gladio. I mean, and make sure and read these books in the order that I recommended in one of my previous videos. When I talked about Operation Gladio, I give you an order of how to read books to like red pill yourself. Read them in that order because it makes the most sense to start with None Dare Call Conspiracy and then The Creature from Jekyll Island. And then once you've read those two books, you can open the gates to a number of different information sources that you will be able to follow. You will be able to understand how this world is actually set up and run, and how these secret organizations basically rule the entire world. As scary as that sounds, it is the fact. It is a fact, and it is the fact of the matter. Anyways, guys, again, I desperately need new subscribers and likes just to stay relevant because I have been shadow banned. My videos are not going to my subscribers, so please click the bell if you want to actually hear more information from me. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the very, very best. And if you'd like to follow me, please follow me on Twitter and Steam It. I'm on both platforms, and in the comments below you can find those links to follow me. So thank you again, guys. Take care. Have a great day.